Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Blues Central, your post-game show on STL Sports Central and powered by DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. The Blues fall tonight again to the Detroit Red Wings, again at home, again to make it their fifth loss in a row. Chat is already popping off. Love the engagement. Love you guys joining the discourse, but we have Mike Meyer here. I want to get his knee-jerk reaction first and foremost because, Mike, we haven't been on a show together in a while, and the Blues have been continually disappointing us time and time again. So what is your initial take from tonight's performance of the St. Louis Blues?
Well, I'm frustrated. I'm tired. I'm frustrated. I'm angry that the Blues do not seem like that they can be able to play a full 60. They don't seem like that they can be able to play a full 40. They don't seem like they can be able to play a full 20 here at this point. They came out. They looked good. At the very least, Braden Shen did. And I'm happy here about that. But the fact that the Blues were unable to really be able to match any bit of his effort, any bit of the play here from him. I mean, you saw him right away. He was trying to get the crowd fired up. He was able to get his team fired up. He was trying to be able to fight Ben Sherratt. Ben Sherratt says no. And you know what? I'm glad that he said no because Braden Shen then turns around and scores the game-opening goal. Great. I'd rather much take a goal here and a point here on the scoreboard than be able to get Braden Shen here into the penalty box here for 5 minutes. But this is a team who just they couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything. It seems like after 7 minutes, they were just done. And I can't figure this thing out. I can't figure out what they're going to end up needing. I can't figure out what's going to cause them to be able to get some spark here into this lineup. I can't figure I have nothing, and I'm just frustrated here at this point that this was a team we were so building up and we were looking forward to, that this team has come out just stumbling throughout the gate. So I'm frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, when you're down by 3 goals in the third period and you're 13 minutes through the third period, you don't even have a shot on goal. I think that's pretty concerning. And it's gotten to the point for me, it's almost like obviously I'm frustrated, right? And this is by all accounts based off of what we saw last year and the sample size and the expectations and, the quick turnaround for this rebuild of a team. Like, this is the downfall of a nation happening in front of us. We've talked about, hinging St. Louis's sports loyalties to, like, basically hitching the wagon to the St. Louis Blues and being like, well, if they don't pan out, we've got basically nothing. And that's kind of what's happening right now, dropping 5 games in a row. But it's just more disappointment left and right. It feels like, time and time again, whether it's fumbling pucks, whether it's guys just not looking like their former selves. I tweeted it out earlier tonight, but Cam Fowler is just a night and day difference from his last 9 games of last season, not including the playoffs. To this season, it's like he was a +7 last season in those 9 game stretches, and now he's like a -7. So it's like the complete reverse effect. And it's not. I'm not saying that. Oh, on this episode of St. Louis Blues Central, like, we're gonna scapegoat somebody else entirely this time. Like, that's my whole point of this. Is like you could handpick any player right now outside of like maybe 3, right? And Jordan Binnington being one of them, probably. That you could try to blame all of the problems that the St. Louis Blues are facing right now on that specific player. And you could probably come up with a good case because nobody looks good right now. No. That being said, I think there's I don't know. It feels like we're getting to the point to where this team is getting past frustrating and getting past disappointing. Like, I'm sure in the post game they're gonna say the same stuff, like it's a long season, we're gonna figure it out, we know we've got the group, all these things. But like, you're getting to the point where you're forcing Doug Armstrong's hand. Like, at the end of the day, the NHL and hockey and sports as a business, and if you can't win on home ice, nobody's gonna show up to your games, which means Tom Stillman's pockets aren't being loaded with dollars, and that's unacceptable from an owner standpoint. So like, they're going to have to change something up, and we've talked about it time and time again. I've talked about it on Twitter. Like, Jim Montgomery's going nowhere. We saw the fire tonight from him. My God. And that timeout, and even after, he was just laying into that team. So you can't sit here and tell me that he's the problem, that he's lost the voice. Even if they are tuning him out, like, you can see his passion. You can see like his messaging, right? It's not like he's messing around here. Like, he knows he knows what's at stake and knows the problems that this team is facing, and it's on the players to execute, and they're not right now. So I think that's where, like, they're forcing Doug Armstrong's hand. I think a trade down the pipeline is coming sooner rather than later if they don't turn this thing around.
Yeah, and at this point, I mean, you've got 3 checking lines that you're rolling out there. Like we thought that these were going to be 3 lines capable of scoring, even 4 lines potentially capable here of scoring, of keeping the pucks out. I use the phrase here, fluidity, over and over and over here again. If one guy here is struggling, that's fine. You can be able to, move some players around. Now the fact that you've got Robert Thomas, who's game to game, you've got Jake Neighbors, who is out for at least 5 weeks. Those are 2 big misses here to your top 9. And I know, there was some hate here for whatever reason here online here about Jake Neighbors, that, well, if Jake Neighbors is the point, of the breaking point here for this team, then, this is a sore excuse here for a team. Have you evaluated the benefit that Jake Neighbors brings to this lineup? One, he's your leading goal scorer at this point in time. And second of all, the heart and the grit that this kid plays with every single game. Give me 12 Jake Neighbors in a lineup here versus multiple NHL teams here at this point. And I would want 12 Jake Neighbors here in my lineup. So this is going to be tough. Like they're going to have to be able to make some lineup adjustments. I expect that there's going to be a call up that's going to be made here probably tomorrow. But Springfield's not really giving them much here of either. I believe that they're 1-5 to start the season here as well. So this is just a top to bottom, just an epic failure out of the gate here for the organization.
Yeah, I mean, we're 10 games into the season. It looks like the Blues are fully cashed out, and they haven't even really gotten going yet. You can cash out right now at one of our sponsors, HomeBank. HomeBank, this post-game show is brought to you by our business banking partners at HomeBank. From business lending to everyday banking, HomeBank has been with us since day one as a trusted partner. Business isn't just about numbers, it's about relationships. And with HomeBank, those relationships make all the difference. HomeBank is the team behind our team at STL Sports Central. Visit myhomebank.bank or call 855-577-2001. HomeBank, member FDIC, more than a bank. They're your business partner. All right. So, Mike, run me through, first of all, your philosophy with this game. Obviously, the first period, we were kind of talking about it a little bit, but it really felt like the Blues came out strong. Maybe not the Blues specifically, but Braden Shen for sure to get the boys wild up. 30 seconds into the game, 47 seconds, same thing. Puts the team up 1-0, and you're like, oh, it's the same thing. It's the same thing as the last time I was on a post game. You're like, God, maybe they figured it out this time. Show up at puck drop, all fire on all cylinders early, get out to a lead instead of trying to scrape and claw from behind. And then just like Jeremy says in the chat, no, absolutely not. The tumultuous collapse that we all knew was happening comes down the stretch, and it all falls apart. But what was your initial reaction to that first period? Obviously, Braden Shen with the goal and the fight as well.
This was one. The first period ended, and I was left scratching my head because, and I had to be able to just jot this down because the Blues had 1 goal and 4 shots on goal in the first 5 minutes. Shen with a goal here again after Ben Sherratt said no to a fight after being challenged by Shen. Shen then a few minutes later had a fight here against Travis Hamonic. But then somehow Detroit just gets all of the momentum. The first goal against the Blues was an odd one. It really was. And the goaltending has not been great. I saw in the comments, you're not going to talk about goaltending. The goaltending has not been great at all. And I'm going to just
about the goaltending, bro. If the team's it doesn't matter if we had Colton Ellis in there right now. We're still getting the same results. The defense, the offense, it's just non-existent. So I can't I get it. You want Jordan Binnington to make shit saves, but also at the same time, you can't rely on him to be Hasek every single night and just be a stalwart and shut you out, So I get what you're saying, but there's way too many people on Twitter and in the chat that are well, we got to get a new goaltending tandem when we were just talking about this being St. Louis goaltending blows right here. We were just talking about this being the best tandem in the entire league last season, and these are the same individuals. So it's like, it's really the same team as last year too. Like, stop fanboying for Benny. Dude, he's the entire reason that Canada won 4 nations. Like, I don't think you guys understand the grasp. Like, Buffalo and a million other teams would be begging to have Jordan Binnington on their team and Joel Hofer. Like, you don't think teams are calling Doug Armstrong left and right about trading for Joel Hofer right now? Like, you're wrong. But like,
It'd be a buy low, but yes, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if it's buy low or buy high. Like, they know what he's capable of. And honestly, he's capable of a lot more than probably like 25 to like 30% of the starters in the NHL right now. So to me, it's not goaltending when your backup is in that position. Yes, he's going through a slump, and yes, he doesn't look good right now, and I wouldn't start him. But guys, I mean, Jordan Binnington comes into your team 2019 and literally carries your squad on his back, not only throughout the playoffs and not only to the Stanley Cup, but Game 7 too. Like, Game 7 does not happen. You don't stay in that game without Jordan Binnington's performance. So like, you can say all that you want that, like, I'm going to blame goaltending, but I refuse to, because I know what these goaltenders are capable of. And I know what the reverse side of it is across the, I mean, I know we got Detroit Red Wings fans in the chat. How did you like Ville Husso as your starter? Was that a fun experience for you? Where is he at right now?
It's been, man. So I'll go back here to this and be able to say that again. So Binnington's first goal against, it was weird. He got stuck in the, it looked like he got stuck in the net, and then he had to be able to turn around, and within 8 seconds, the puck's in the back of the net. So he got stuck like in a weird position. He couldn't be able to find himself. Fluky goal. And then you have the power play, which was, I mean, just a beautiful play here by Detroit. Absolutely loved that one. But it's you do have to really get the defense in front of him. And this is something that we saw a couple seasons ago, where you saw almost like a record number of backdoor passes and backdoor feeds, and just left it wide open, and Jordan Binnington just left hung out to dry. So I don't know whether it's you can be able to blame Logan Mailloux, Justin Falk. I mean, like, you can be able to blame any single one of these guys. Like, none of these defenders and even the forwards in front of them are playing good enough hockey and good enough defense, and they're just leaving these guys here out to dry. So again, yes, they do need to come up with some timely saves, and sometimes like they just need to stand on their head. But you should not and do not need to rely on them to make all of these timely saves when you guys are the ones who cannot be able to clear the puck. You're not using the boards to be able to properly dish the puck out. You aren't keeping enough sustained offensive pressure. Like, I don't know how many more times to be able to say that, like, it's a ripple effect. If you can't keep the puck on the other end, they're just going to continue to force it down your throat.
So I'm looking at plus minuses for tonight, which is a roller coaster to say the least. Justin Falk was a plus minus 0, so that's good. Philip Broberg was +1. Pavel Buchnevich -2. I think everybody, including the broadcast, was kind of talking about his struggle so far this season, as well as tonight. And then everybody else on the defensive side was at least a -1. You know, obviously with a score deficit, the way that it was tonight, you're going to get a lot of minuses. But it just seems like the guys that consistently are supposed to be spearheading your defensive core, right? And a guy like Cam Fowler, who, you know, he signed an extension, looked fantastic for this squad last year, looked like he could be like the best defenseman on your team in terms of point production. And then Colton Parayko with the season that he had last year as well. Like, you're banking on those guys being stalwarts, and they're making, you know, more mistakes than you would like to see early on this season. Obviously, Mailloux's going to have like his bumps and bruises, right?
Rookie run,
especially as an offensive defenseman. We're just working with what we got right now. And I think since his time coming down from the press box, he's looked better than he did.
Yes,
shell-shocked in the games beforehand. But somebody's got to step up defensively. Like, whether it's Broberg, whether it's Falk, or whether it's Parayko turning his game around, like you can't be having like 75% of your defensemen be negatives every night, because that's how you lose games. And the Blues are letting up like 4+ goals a night, like it doesn't matter who's in goal. That's what it comes around to for me. And Blues blew a 4-goal lead, which is a great name, by the way, but says, then what is it, the decor? Yeah, I think it is. And I think a part of that decor is the forwards coming back and playing defense too. And when you got Pavel Buchnevich being a -2, it's obvious that he's not doing well enough in that regard, and a lot of other people. So, like, it's not to single out Buchnevich, right? But he's making a lot of money. It's not to single out any of these other guys on the forward crew that are a minus. Nathan Walker had a bad play tonight that directly led to a goal. Suter's looked great some games, and he's looked bad some other games. Jimmy Snuggerud has showed that he's a rookie in the NHL, like, and he's also shown flashes of brilliance. So, like, you know, with the youth on this team and with the age on this team, like, there's going to be bumps and bruises that come with it. And, like, that's just the nature of the beast that we're dealing with right now. And there's a lot of bruises right now. So then anything positive, and that's what's frustrating for everybody, because you dropped 5 games in a row. It feels like you can't win anything at home. It feels like you can't even play your backup goalie at this point. And it feels like when you throw Jordan Binnington into the game, feels like you're throwing him to the dogs because the team around him, like, doesn't want to play. I don't know. Like, they can't get up for anything. So, like, what do? If you're Doug Armstrong, your hands are tied, and you're watching Jim Montgomery scream at these guys on the bench, and they come out for the third period and they don't have a shot on goal until like 15 minutes in. Like, I mean, what do you do? What do you do? Like, all that feels like is left for me is to, like, trade somebody and hope that wakes them up.
Yeah, and that I don't necessarily see if I see a trade like that coming, because most teams then are not going to give you a fair value. They know that you're desperate, and they're not going to be willing to take on some contracts unless you put a sweetener in. They're just not. So you're left with trying to figure out, again, who do I call up? Do I call up Dalibor Dvorsky? Do I call up an Otto Stenberg here right now? Because, again, like, outside of the point production from a Dalibor Dvorsky, he hasn't looked great to start the season. Stenberg here, again, he's got, I believe, 1 goal to start the year. Everybody hasn't looked great. So, again, maybe you can be able to inject them into the lineup, and maybe they can be able to look good. I was petitioning earlier here for Nikita Alexandrov. I don't know if he's going to be healthy, because apparently he's got a little bit of a shoulder injury that may be able to leave him out for a little bit. Don't know here just yet. Haven't heard of anything, but they got to be able to figure something out, and they're just going to have to be able to look here within. And boy, I'm hoping that they've got it. Because, like you said, like, these guys are all slumping. They're all stumbling out of the gate. And so I think that these guys are too good not to raise their levels back up. They're too good, and they're not going to continue this way. But you cannot continue to afford to coughing up this many points. You can't afford to be this bad on home ice. You can't afford to have your backup goaltender just be absolute shell-shocked and think that he's going to let up 7 goals every single time that he gets inserted here into a game. And I don't know what that looks like for them. I wish I knew how to correct it, but I'm at a loss for words.
Well, I don't know about you, but Mike, but one thing that always makes me feel better is betting. So you guys should check out DraftKings if you're into that sort of thing. And download their sportsbook app now and use code STL Sports to grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st. That's code STL Sports in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. All right, Mike. So we were talking a little bit about it in the trading way. You were saying that with the players and the level of play that they're playing right now, you don't think that Blues are going to get do you think the Blues will not be able to trade anybody away, or do you just think they won't be able to get a fair price?
I don't think that they could get a fair price, and that's where I don't think that Armstrong and Steen, here by extension, is not going to be willing to pull the trigger. Because anybody that you'd be looking to trade is going to be a player that is still going to have a couple of years like left on their contract. They're going to have some no trade clauses. I mean, like, I'm looking at like a Justin Falk. You know, he's you're not going to really get a fair value here for him. And I don't know what a fair value for him would look like, but they would be probably wanting him to be able to retain salary. And I don't see that being, who else are you going to be getting here into the lineup then at that point? Maybe you could be able to bring up a Leo Loof. I don't think Theo Lindstein's ready here just as of yet. Hunter Skinner, maybe, but I mean, you're talking about injecting guys who are going to be third pairing defensemen. Like, these are not going to be valuable second pairing defensemen who you're ready to throw up just yet. So that's where, again, trading somebody just doesn't necessarily seem like it's the right answer at this point, unless for some reason that there's a trade that a team is willing to be able to make that is going to be your savior.
Yeah, I just think it's more like I know we've been talking about trading Justin Falk from going all the way back to last season because he did have a very rough season last year, but it looks to me like this season, like, he's playing a lot better than the way that he did last year. Like, and tonight's example, like, size is a small sample size, but it feels to me like Justin Falk is one of the more positive people on the defensive side of the puck right now, which is crazy because of the discourse that we had surrounding him last year. But even in the event that, like, we did trade Justin Falk, I don't think that's the shakeup that a Doug Armstrong type of person is looking to send a message to this team. Just because, like, I'm not going to say that he's aging, but it's not like, kind of like you said, it's a lower pairing. Like, he takes less prominence on this team than a guy like, I don't like, Chet keeps talking about Pavel Buchnevich. Like, I do think that there's, Cam Jansen in the chat. Look at that. What's going on, Cam? But a guy like Pavel Buchnevich, right? Like, it holds a lot of weight in that locker room. Obviously the guys love him. But if Doug Armstrong's trying to send a message, like, and his name is being floated around in trade markets, like, if you're a team in the NHL looking in and you're looking at a, buy low opportunity on a guy like Pavel Buchnevich, I think there's certainly people that would be interested in, at least exploring that opportunity. And for the St. Louis Blues, like, you sign that contract extension, $8 million. Like, if you want to get out of that because of the production that you're seeing right now, or, whatever it is, like, if you're seeing warning signs of an age declining, like, whatever it is, whatever situation Doug Armstrong views it as, or what you're looking at, like, I think a name like Pavel Buchnevich would be more impactful for the team to, like, screw their heads on straight. Even if you don't end up trading him, just, like, having the news go out there that there's, like, talk around trading him, right? Like, players pick up on that. We saw something similar. I mean, we talked to Oscar Sundquist about it. If you haven't checked out that episode, it's on the podcast, so make sure you check it out on Spotify or Apple. But we talked directly to Oscar Sundquist about it. He's like, yeah, we all heard about, like, Braden Shen potentially going to Toronto. And he was like, yeah, I don't want to go. I want to play on this team. And that fired us up. So even something like that situation could happen, with Pavel Buchnevich, with Justin Falk, with anybody on the squad right now. But I think the entire basis around this is that nobody's safe. And Doug Armstrong, it feels like Doug Armstrong is getting to the point where he needs to send a message. And it's not going to be firing the coach.
No. Again, like, he's already doubled down on, especially giving the contract that he did to Jim Montgomery, and it's not going to be the coach. Now, I could potentially see, I mean, I don't know the history of teams firing assistant coaches early in the year, midway through the year, anything like that. That would be potentially a shakeup that I could be able to see happen. I don't know the likelihood. To your point here, like, about Buchnevich, I don't know who is going to be taking on a Pavel Buchnevich, who is in the first year of his contract where he's earning $8 million a season for the next 6 years.
I don't know. Thomas Harley just got 10.5.
Good for Thomas Harley.
The price.
Good for Thomas Harley.
Yesterday's price ain't today's price, baby.
Yeah. So again, like, it's tough. And again, Pavel Buchnevich, he's really not turning into a goal scorer here anymore. He's turning more into a playmaker. And so when you look at it, he has 6 points in 9 games here, like, before tonight's game. So it's statistically speaking, he's not bad. But when you look at the eye test, like, is he having bad puck luck? Is he having, where just plays are just not connecting? It's a mixture of everything. The Blues are just not having good puck luck all across the board. And it's just affecting everything. And again, like, you can be able to say that that's a horrible excuse, and I know it is, but the Blues are just not getting bounces going their way. And again, I agree. Like, prospects are not going to save this season at all. So that's where, like, this is a team that they have to figure it out together, and they've got very little time to be able to do it because they got Vancouver here in town here on Thursday. So it's just this is not going to be a quick and easy fix. And boy, that they need it to be a quick and easy fix.
Yeah, and we haven't even touched on the fact that sounds like Jake Neighbors is going to be missing some significant time and going to LTIR, which is not great. And Robert Thomas was out of the lineup as well. But that's because I feel like, I don't want to make excuses for this team. Like, it's consistently always been like next men up mentality, and the claim to fame for the St. Louis Blues has always been their depth, right? And that's how they're built to succeed. So we can't come on here and say the Blues are going to win the Stanley Cup in 2025 and 2026 because they are one of, if not the deepest teams in the entire NHL. And then be like, oh, they don't have Jake Neighbors and Robert Thomas. They can't compete with anybody. Come on. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like talking out both sides of our mouth. So, like, I'm not going to come on here and tell you that, like, the result happened tonight because they're missing two of their studs in the top end of their lineup, because they should be built to withstand teams like that and still come away with victories. But unfortunately for them, they're not finding victories in any significant manner right now. And it's more so that they're finding like significant ways to lose in games where you really think they turned a corner or they figured it out, and it just, kind of all comes crumpling down.
Is it just a matter of effort for you? Because that's where it's boiling down here to me. It's effort, it's heart. It's I said this a couple of nights ago here when you guys were doing the show, and it's just the pucks do, like, it's just not going their way, and they're getting very dejected very easily. It's not a we've got this mentality. It's not a, like, they don't have that guy to be able to help inject some life into their lineup. They don't have a Patrick Maroon to be able to help keep them fired up. They don't have a, when Steve Ott was playing, you don't have these guys who are sitting next to you here in, like, on the bench, willing to be able to just, bang the bodies here up against you and say, you know what, like, I'm going to go score the next goal. I'm going to go get the next fight. I'm going to go get the next big hit. You don't have those guys. Any single time something bad happens and they show the bench, you just see the heads hanging. And it's just the attitude, it's the body language. And again, the captain's trying to be able to lead here by example. He's doing a great job. Right. He really is. Braden Shen cannot carry this entire team.
I don't know what else Braden Shen could have done tonight to, like,
nothing.
Get the boys
absolutely nothing.
And same thing with Jim, with Jim Montgomery. Like, I don't know what he could have done tonight to get the boys fired up. And that's where I think Cam makes a great point. Like, this ain't good, boys. Something needs to change. It's like, yeah, if your captain and your coach, and your head coach, like, can't get you fired up and can't get you enough to, like you said, Mike, like, stop hanging the heads. And, like, I don't know if it's an effort thing. I think it's a mentality thing that kind of oozes into the effort, like, if there's not that mentality of, like, I'm going to put my body on the line to block shots, but not only block shots, like, bang bodies, check them into the boards, clear my crease, get into the other goalie's crease, clear our slot, get into their slot. Like, that's where I think the mentality is, like, it's not an attacking mentality. It's like a perimeter mentality. So it's like, yeah, the Blues have 20 shots on goal and the other team has 20 shots on goal. Like, yeah, on paper, they have the same amount of, like, opportunities to score. But when you break it down into, like, high danger opportunities, it feels like the opponents have, like, are running like 50% high danger opportunities, and the Blues have like 3 a game. It's like, I don't know. I don't know how you get there, and I don't know how you navigate that or change that. But, like, it feels to me like from an accountability standpoint, right? Like, each player on the squad needs to hold themselves accountable for their play, not worry about other people. But also at the same time, like, everybody's got to show up
accountable too, though.
Yeah, and everybody's got to show up with the same mentality of, like, pulling each other into battle, but also pulling yourself into battle and knowing, like, like, mistakes are going to happen and goals are going to happen, but, like, you can never you can't be 10 minutes into a hockey game and be like, well, it's over. We have no chance. It's like,
Right.
we just watched teams come back like 4-0 against us. And it's like, there's always a chance at the NHL. Like, you're a professional hockey player. So like, if you do the work, if you grind it out, like, good things will happen. And I think the Blues are just convinced right now that, like, no matter what they do, like, nothing's going to go their way. And I think that's where the mentality needs to change.
Yep, absolutely. So with that in mind, then, who do you go for in net here on Thursday night? Because I go back to Bennington.
Yeah,
I go back
too.
to Bennington. I don't run with Joel Hofer here just as of yet, but that's just me.
I would go back with Bennington. And I think they play Vancouver Canucks again. So there's that little chip on his shoulder anytime he goes against Vancouver and Elias Pettersson. But yeah, I think, right now, Jordan Bennington's your starting goaltender, and he's always going to give you the best opportunity to win. I think the mentality thing kind of is affecting Joel Hofer too. Like, I don't think he just all of a sudden, like, is the worst goalie we've ever seen and can't make a save. Like, I think it's just like he's in his own head right now. And like, I mean, everybody talks about, the mentality of goaltenders and how, like, not like fragile it is, but how it can be fickle. And I think for a guy as young as Joel Hofer, who, is still trying to pave his way in the league right now, like, a game like that will stick with you for a while. So for him, it's just, find him a way to get back on the horse, but don't, like, throw him into a fire against the Vancouver Canucks team that, could potentially light him up too. Like, give him
crazy idea.
I know Monty was talking about a 50-50 split, like, throughout the course of this season. But like, if for a little bit you're like 75-25 or like 85-15, like, that's okay. Like, it's all about a balance and all about equal parts, like, carrying the load. And if Jordan has to carry it right now, like, that's fine. But we know down the stretch and throughout the course of this season, we're going to need Joel Hofer. So pick your battles with him and put him in against matchups where, even in the event that, that mentality is still draining on him, like, he still has a chance to come away victorious, because that's a good enough confidence boost in itself. Like, even if you have a bad game, if your team wins, you're like, we got the dub. That's all that matters. We're going to move on and, put it past us. So.
Absolutely. I think what they need to be able to do is they need to be able to get the Jordan Bennington villain back up and running. They need to be able to get Jordan Bennington pissed. They need to spark a fight, get something rolling here with him, because if he's a spark plug, he's an untapped weapon here right now of a spark plug that you can be able to get ignited here for this team. So I'm just saying, here's a break glass of case of emergency type of situation. And Jordan Bennington, I think, is absolutely one of those players and one of those fail safes that you don't want to have happen. But you know what? If we got to be able to unleash the bomb, then we'll unleash the bomb. Why not?
So speaking of getting ignited, I think that's a perfect segue into our
you're welcome, man.
Our money moment of the game. And that is brought to you by Home Bank. The money moment of the game is brought to you by Home Bank, the team behind our team at STL Sports Central. Visit myhomebank.bank or call 855-577-2001. Mike, if you had to take, I know there's a lot of negativity in the chat right now. There's a lot of negativity from us. It's hard to be positive when your team goes down on a 5-game losing streak, right? And maybe your money moment of the game doesn't have to be positive. It can be negative. But if you had to pick one for tonight's loss against the Detroit Red Wings, what would your moment be?
I'm going to go, and I hate going against the Blues here right now, but this was, it was a beautiful play here, and I have to be able to recognize it. But Dylan Larkin here with that tip in front, it was not a one-timer. It was just, a slash play type of a play here of a one-timer that he made. Absolutely beautiful goal. I think that was just the complete just nail in the coffin here for St. Louis. But that was absolute money here for Detroit. So I got to be able to recognize it here when it's there.
I'm going to go with my money moment of the game being Braden Chen's fight, because
there you go.
It was the last moment in this game that I really felt something like a fire inside of me. Right. That was the last moment of positivity where I was like, oh yeah, that's my captain. get the boys firing, right? Get all the momentum in this first period. And then it was just all Red Wings from there with very little pushback until Jordan Cairo in the third period. But by that time, it was too late. So, I'll take Braden Shen as one of my captains. And honestly, I think one of my favorite captains for the St. Louis Blues in recent memory. I know a lot of people have been kind of questioning him or his leadership skills, but dude, like
He shows up.
I think after what we saw tonight, like you can kind of put that all to rest. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah. No, he shows up when it's needed. He may not have the offensive upside that you want here, like from your captain. He just doesn't have that really in him anymore. He's got some spurts here right now, and he's doing what he needs to. But he is absolutely a player who I want leading me here on the ice, because he is willing to go out there, make a hit, make a block, start a fight, put in the goal, or at least go here to the front of the net here when it's needed. He is willing to absolutely lead here by example. And that's where you're starting to see those early traits here in a Jake Neighbors. And I'm absolutely loving that here from him. And he just has that it factor here, I think, that you just at least want here from a team captain. So yeah, I don't like the downplay and the hate here for a Braden Shen, but I absolutely just love and respect Braden Shen and what he brings here to this team.
So the Blues next go up against the Vancouver Canucks, like we talked about on Thursday. Obviously, we'll be having a post game for that as well. So hoping that his team will drag its way back into the win column. Mike, if you are foreseeing the future right now, I know we talked about goaltending, but what are your keys to success for Thursday's matchup against the Canucks outside of playing a full 60?
Outside of playing a full 60, I'll go even smaller. Just play a full 5. Just take it 5 minutes at a time. That's it. Just play 5 minutes at a time. That's all I'm asking for. And then if you have a bad 5 minutes, guess what? Make the next best make the next best here for your next 5 minutes, and just keep moving forward. So, for me, outside of that, though, if you want to be able to look here at a little bit of a bigger scale, I want to see Jordan Cairo get back here on the scoring sheet, because, it'd be grateful to see him go to, I think it's 9 games.
Yeah.
Then at that point, 9-game streak. I absolutely need Dylan Holloway to get on the score sheet. He's been making it a little bit better here for himself here as of late, but I need this guy to get going here offensively. I just do. I would figure that this would be a season that he would want to get rolling here offensively, but we just haven't seen him for him here right now. So 5 minutes here at a time. Jordan Cairo 9-game point streak. Dylan Holloway goal.
And speaking of getting going, it's 10:36 right now. So if you need to get going, fuel your fire with Drink Thunder, the all-natural pre-workout that hits different. If you got early morning workouts, you need that little pep in your step, Drink Thunder is the stuff for you. It's plant-based, fruit-powered, zero sugar, sweetened naturally with monk fruit. Each serving is packed with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to ignite your energy and push your performance to the next level. Choose your flavor, orange mango, lemonade, or strawberry cream, and feel the rush the natural way. Order now at drinkthunder.com. Drink Thunder, pure power, no crash, all natural. My keys for the game against the Vancouver Canucks. First of all, I think I haven't looked at the post-game press conferences yet, but I'm hoping that Jim Montgomery kind of brings up the topic again of playing on home ice, right? Because we know that was something that was drilled into this team all throughout the course of like the end stretch last season, and really started that home game win streak of dominance, right? Like I think it was 14 in a row at the time before the debacle in the home opener against Minnesota. We're still riding high on that one until it didn't happen. But for the Blues, this team is so, these fans are so adamant and so passionate, right? Like we're seeing it in the chat right now. Like they want the negativity, they want the positivity, they want all the trade scenarios. They want they're so smart, right? And they want all of it. And I'm trying to give them all of it, and we're trying to give them all of it. But I can't give them wins, and I can't give them wins on home ice Remember when we used to discuss winning? Yeah, dude, that was awesome. I was all right. I shaved my head for that team. That's not like, if you want to talk about my passion and like, question that, like I was bald for a whole off season because I was so passionate about this team. So, but yeah, dude, just like I have some pride, right? Like there's 20,000 screaming fans paying good money, spending their off time off of work when they don't have to. They could be sitting on the couch watching the game, eating potato chips out of their belly button and listening to the post games and all that stuff. But no, they drive to downtown, which is traffic and chaos already as is. Then you head down there, spend your good money that you work hard for, 9 to 5, show up, butts in seats, walk down to the glass, watch them warm up, right? Say, Benner, I'm rooting for you. You got this, right? And then they come out 30 seconds into the game, is 2-0. You're like, why did I come? Why did I show up, right? Like, and obviously tonight it was a little bit different because you saw Braden Shen put one in, and then you saw him try to fight somebody, and you're like, oh, now we got it. And then it still happens, right? So, like, let's flip the script a little bit, have some pride in how this team plays on home ice. And I know Jim Montgomery has that embedded into his personal philosophy. I need it to be embedded in this team again because it's just so much more electric when they're able to dominate at Enterprise Center, and they're worse there right now. I don't know if they got stage fright or what.
Thomas, they just need you to be able to go down and just give them a pep talk, just layering, just throwing thunder at them, and just reading them ad reads, just splicing them into the roster lineup and stuff. Because
be like
it's
a
too natural
motivational
for you, man.
speaker.
But
I am divorced and I live in a van down by the river. One of those things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let me just walk into the Blues locker room. I'm sure that'll resonate with them really well.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
All right. I think that's all the time we have for today. But chat, I want to thank you guys, as usual, for hopping in. Whether it's misery, whether it's positivity with us, we always appreciate your engagement. Make sure you follow us, subscribe to us. I think we're almost to like 17,000 subscribers on STL Sports Central, and that's where you can catch all of these Blue Central post-game shows. So definitely smack that subscribe button. You can follow STL Sports Central on all socials, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatnot. I'm sure they just got everything. But yeah, thank you guys so much. We will see you on Thursday. Hopefully get back in the winning column. Fingers crossed against the Vancouver Canucks. We will see you next time. Peace.